Hi, this is Marcia, and today I'm going to be talking about future ready skills. In fact, I'm going to be talking a lot about how to progress from phase one to phase two to phase three, implementing future ready skills. I call this the evolution of future ready. In this video, we're going to be going through a lot of different ideas. Make sure you stop, pause, take it in, because my real focus for this whole blog post and video is talking about project-based learning. We're at the end of the year, and a lot of our teachers are like, what do I do? How do I keep these students engaged? My answer is implement a project-based Genius Hour 20% time project, because that's what's going to really get those kids to be motivated and wanting to learn more in school with the last couple of weeks. Another idea might be to start out the school year with a project-based learning idea. All right, hold tight. One of the things that comes up a lot is, what is a project versus project-based? Well, in the blog post, I talk really a lot about this, and I even found a little graphic to kind of explain that. But really, a project is, all right, guys, we're going to redesign our classroom, draw, create a layout for our classroom, versus a project-based learning where the PTA mom comes into the classroom and says, hey guys, guess what? We got $500 to give your classroom. We want you to determine how you would spend the money. That's it. So a project tells the students what they have to do. Project-based is a wide open idea or concept that the students can kind of take their own spin, twist onto that. So today, again, we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about that project-based learning. Doesn't mean you have to do it now. You could do it at the end or the beginning of the school year. You could do it in the middle of the school year. It's just one way to put a little bit of a twist to your blended learning lessons. Also, just one other thing that I want to talk about is that this all comes with basically a 2-week project-based learning idea, kind of like a little kit that you could put together. Sometimes people look at project-based learning as this big, giant, overwhelming task. Well, just start small. It's better to do something than nothing at all. So start small with just a 2-week project. Give the kids a hook, see what they create, stop, regroup, try it again later. But the whole idea is that you at least start. A 2-week one sounds way easier to do than a whole entire semester. All right, with that being said, let's get started. All right, let's talk about phase three. This is what we've all been waiting for. We're going to take the kids' passion, their ideas, their concepts, what makes them tick, and turn it into a project that is interdisciplinary, if at all possible. So when we're talking about this, we can do it with Genius Hour, Innovation Hour, passion projects, Wonder Workshop, 20% time, project-based learning. All these things are the same kind of concept. But we just need, if you're doing something that you want to know about, just go look it up. Go Google search Genius Hour. Go look 20% time, and it's going to give you step-by-step guides. In fact, when I'm talking about project-based learning, I spend a lot of time researching it, going to Buck Institute, looking for different resources through like Twitter feed, because all those things are going to help me to understand how to deploy a project-based learning idea. When you start to think about what is project-based learning idea, I start with what's called the hook or the driving question. This is a great example of a driving question.
Dude, wow, it's a sea turtle.
Wrapped up from head to flipper.
So that is my hook. After I'm done with presenting a hook or a driving question to my students, I pass out these really cute little fish, these cutout fish. You can go find them on Amazon. You can make them yourself. You can use Post-its, but there's something magical when you give somebody a cutout fish. They look at it like, wonder what this is about. So the cutout fish and how it works. As soon as I show the hook, I have the teachers or I have the students write down thoughts. Take a moment. When you saw that video, what were some of the things you thought about? Did you think about plastic? Did you think about helium balloons? What you think about sea turtles? Writing down what you are wondering and thinking about is going to be the start of your project. Maybe now that you know that all this plastic is floating around in the ocean, maybe you want to do something about it. Maybe you're going to do a public announcement. Maybe you're going to start up a trash collection. Maybe you're going to start following the trash tag. The whole idea is that we take this one concept and we turn it into something that's going to then become a project. This is part of the packet that I was talking about earlier. In the packet that you get is this like project bracket. Basically, this is a poster that you can blow up and you can have it up in your classroom, or you can just give it to the students. Like, what is one of your ideas? Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Now, I put them into groups because basically you're going to take those ideas of the fish and you're going to put them all together in one group. Maybe it's public announcement. Maybe one is like cleaning up. Maybe one's learning more about the animals. Maybe one is about whatever the students come up with, right? Maybe they want to make a calendar. Maybe they want to create something. So you put them into categories based off of that. Then you do just like a basketball bracket. Well, which two sound better? From there, the next winner. And then finally, you're getting down to the final one. You could stop at any time depending on how many groups you want in your classroom working on different projects. Let me repeat that. You can stop at any time. If you don't want everybody to do one project, like making a public announcement, then you stop it wherever you feel like there's enough interest for different projects. But your idea is to take all those fish that the kids wrote on and you're going to break it down group by group by group until they finally fit one that matches what they're learning about. That's it. So you're going to keep breaking it down, breaking it down, breaking it down. And if 4 people want to learn about sea turtles, then maybe that's their project. Maybe their project is to learn more about sea turtles. If one wants to learn more about like the effects of helium balloons, then maybe that's their project. But you can stop it wherever you want. Does that make sense? Okay, let's keep moving on. So we're getting ready to deploy our project, and it is so crazy how many teachers say to me, Marsha, but how do I teach? And I'm like, you still teach. You're still doing your mini lessons. You're still doing your checklist. But now what you're doing is you're letting the kids have time to work on their project instead of the future ready activities. Projects and Genius Hours, you guys, that is future ready. So what does that look like? So your mini lessons. If I'm talking about environmental global issues, I'm still going to talk about how to conserve waterways, taking a deeper dive into the data, looking about like how water travels from the river to the ocean. Do you see how all this is working? I'm still teaching while the kids are working on their projects. They are still doing independent projects because I still need them working on the content. So they're going to be going to Newsela articles. They're going to spend time researching on their own. They're going to write a letter to policymakers about cleaning up the river, cleaning up the ocean, cleaning up whatever waterway is close to your house. Then next we talk about digital content. It is so important that we're still focusing the kids' attention onto what the skill or learning objective is. We're talking about conserving water, waterways, global connectedness. So let's watch a video about water cycle. Let's talk about the longest river. Let's talk about the cleanliness. They're doing these different videos based off of the different mini lessons that I'm teaching. But then finally, what we're talking about next is when we're doing the future ready skills, we just set aside 20 minutes each day where the kids can work together and they can go through and work on that project that they're doing in their future ready studio. That's it. All of this is part of the packet too, so don't worry. You can see an example on the blog post, and in the packet it lays it out for you. So it tells you day 1, day 2, day 3. Here's another example, okay? When we're talking about a hook, I have 20 nieces and nephews, and I adore each and every one of them. This is one of my nephews that we went on vacation together, and we're surfing. We're on a surf vacation, but I'm like, after I got done surfing, I'm like, hey, you know what? We should go clean up the ocean. He kind of looked at me. He's like, what are you talking about? I gave him a bag, and I talked to him about plastic, and we talked about what micro trash is. That was my hook, talking about what is micro trash.
This is what I'd call a straw. It's basically what could kill a sea turtle or any other sea creature in the sea. It could kill them probably when they digest it or eat it because I think it's food. Instead of using a straw, drink it like your ancestors did. It'll help the environment and help you.
So he took the idea of no straws, and he came up with his own little public announcement, posted it on Twitter, got a lot of hits. Even while we were walking around that day, so a project, you guys, doesn't have to be super big. We went to it into classroom. But when we were walking around that day, I could not tell you how many people came up to us and said, hey, Marsh, they didn't know my name. They're like, hey, thank you for making a positive impact. Hey, thank you for being good role models. By doing something very visible, by picking up trash, people are very aware about what their surroundings are. That's all it takes, you guys. It's just basically giving them one little hook and letting those kids take off and create something of their own. This is the trash that we collected. Of course, Fort Ocean is my heart. I always wear Fort Ocean bands. But this is a trash that we picked up in one day's time. Real quick, real easy. We just put it in there. I would highly recommend gloves, though, because sometimes you're picking up trash that you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I should be picking that up. So now we travel around with gloves, and it kind of does make it a little bit easier. But why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because of the fact that this one little project talking about microtrash can turn into something great and big. Here's a surfer at a surf competition. We were sitting there and we were watching the surfers, and I look over, and this is a high school student who's selling t-shirts. Sorry, it's a little bit needed. So this kid was selling t-shirts, and I walked up to him and I said, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm selling t-shirts for one of my school projects. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, well, this is my high school project that I'm doing where I'm making t-shirts to talk about microtrash and what microtrash does to the environment. Like, well, okay, well, tell me more. He's like, okay, so my social studies teacher said that I need to figure out, like, where's the best way to get t-shirts? Thinking about, like, economy, like, thinking about where to buy them. Is a white t-shirt better than a black t-shirt? How do I get the printing? Where do I get them made? Long story short, he was taking the idea of a t-shirt and going through the process of how to manufacture it from the social studies point of view. Fantastic. I mean, what a great way to add and tie that in. Then he's like, okay, so my English teacher is having me do public announcements. So I'm able to talk about what it is, what is microtrash, how does that work, how does my t-shirt going to help bring awareness to microtrash. All right, so there you can see him. Sorry, it's kind of a crazy day. Didn't have my makeup on that day. But you can see that he's sitting there talking about what is microtrash and what it's doing, and he's talking about his t-shirts to me. Then, of course, we talk about the art. Well, he designed and created all the artwork for his t-shirts, his banners, his flyers, for his website. Hello, what a great idea to take his artwork, and now it becomes part of who he is and talks also about microtrash. Then, of course, math. Well, anytime you're selling or have a business or a nonprofit, you need to make sure you know how to do a spreadsheet. So his math teachers are like, you need to find out your profits, your net gains, how much you have to pay people, how much your setup fees are going to be. So all that became part of his learning experience. He's basically becoming an entrepreneur in math class. The next thing we talked about was talking about science. Well, that was an easy one because we're talking about the effects of microtrash in animals and what the microtrash is. If you don't know what microtrash is, it's basically the tiny little particles that you find in sand. The next time you're at the beach, just take 2 handfuls of sand, pick it up, and just see how much plastic is in there. You'll be surprised. So, of course, in science, he's talking about that, trying to explain to people what is microtrash. Even though the beach looks clean, there's still stuff that the animals are digesting. And then finally, languages. He never knows who he's going to meet or come up there, so he's got to be able to talk to them. If they're Spanish speaking, then he needs to be able to speak and convey his message to them. So it's really bringing in their foreign language as well. The whole idea is that we take this one concept, the evolution of Future Ready, where we first go out and we teach the kids just to start creating. Then we give them choice in what they want to do. Finally, we go to project-based learning. We're now in a project-based learning. We're taking everything that they learned and we're allowing them to go with their passion or whatever concept they're wanting to work on. That's it. Project-based learning. Sometimes there might be epic fails. Sometimes there'll be really good ones. But the authentic audience is a big, big key part of project-based learning. You have to have somebody to present to. Part of his project was to go to that surf competition and sell his t-shirts. That's his authentic audience. Driving question, having that hook. letting the kids work, becoming that project manager, are all the things that you'll find in this blog post that talk about that. Sometimes when the kids are doing this, they might just find something that's going to help us out. Of course, this is one kid who went and found out a way to collect the plastic out of the ocean. Just recently found out that it is not working, but that doesn't mean that we give up hope. The hope is that somebody out there is going to find a way to collect all this plastic that's floating around our beautiful earth and figure out a way to recycle it. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this, but the whole idea about project-based learning and getting to where we are is allowing those kids to find their passion. Let them go with a topic. Give them a hook, see what they can create. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, of course, you know where you can find me. You can find me online. You can find me on social media. You can find me on my blog post. Just try it. 2 weeks. It's not that hard. We got this. Bye, guys.